Welcome back. Let's get now into the Cowboys' top draft picks since 2000. We'll take your round by round, one pick for the first round, one pick for the second, one for the third, and so on. And then we'll ask you who your favorite draft pick was. Some of these were very easy to do. Some of them actually kind of a bit of a discussion. We'll get to the first round to lead things off, and DeMarcus Ware. This one was a little tricky, but it ended up being a little bit obvious. There were a lot of really good first-round options for the Dallas Cowboys beyond DeMarcus Ware. There's Ezekiel Elliott, Zach Martin, Frederick, Tyron Smith, Terrence Newman to go way back. But DeMarcus Ware takes the cake. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, 117 sacks, one of, if not the best Cowboys pass rusher of all time, played in the 4-3 and the 3-4 defense for Dallas. He's a stud. I actually, in the end, thought this one was relatively easy for the first round, despite there being so many quality options. DeMarcus Ware is the Cowboys' best first-round draft pick since 2000. Get to the second round now, and this one was, I think, pretty obvious for me as well. Sean Lee, the stud linebacker, is still a stud for the Dallas Cowboys. Number 55 overall back in 2010. 668 tackles, a whole bunch of tackles for loss. DeMarcus Lawrence was in the mix here as well, but he's only had one true year of good production, and then it was the likes of Andre Garrard outside of those guys. So Sean Lee, a bit of an obvious pick in the second round. Time for the most obvious pick of all, the third round. Jason Witten, number 69 overall in 2003. It was a very, very easy selection. Most yards and most catches in Cowboys history. He is one of the best tight ends of all time. The next best option would have been DeMarco Murray. It was super easy to pick Jason Witten here in the third round. We'll keep it rolling with our current Cowboys players as we get to the fourth round and one Dakota Prescott. Dak Prescott here, 135 overall in 2016. He was not the Cowboys' top option in that 2016 draft. They wanted Paxton Lynch, couldn't get him. The Raiders snagged Connor Cook before the Cowboys could take him, and they ended up settling on Dak Prescott, and it's been a big pick for the Cowboys. Now, it is still very early in Dak's career, but look at the other fourth-round picks. Anthony Hitchens, Doug Free was okay. He was even great at times, but he often drew the ire of Cowboys fans. Marion Barber didn't play long enough for Dallas to really factor in, although he's one of my all-time favorite players. Chris Canty, Brady James were solid, but I think with what we've seen from Dak in just 2 years, it's enough to get him as the team's top fourth-round pick since 2000. And hey, positional value does matter here, folks. Get to the fifth round, and this was kind of the only option in round 5. Orlando Scandrick, number 143 off the board back in 2008. His tenure with the Cowboys, though, likely coming to an end. He will likely either be cut or traded this offseason. As good as he's been for Dallas, he's a really good nickel corner and a bunch of sacks. Always a little bit concerning to me, though, when your cornerback has more sacks than he has interceptions. But Scandrick in the fifth round, there was really nobody else as of yet. And both the fifth and the sixth round for the Cowboys haven't produced the greatest success. I think that's evident by the sixth round selection. We're going way back to 2000. Mario Edwards, and you might recognize that name because his son, Mario Edwards Jr., is playing for the Oakland Raiders. Edwards was 180 in 2000, played for the Cowboys from 2000 to 2003, just a couple years with Dallas, but there weren't a lot of other great options. Anthony Brown would have been next up, but both have played very few career years with Dallas, so we gave the edge to Edwards for now. Check back in a couple years, and Anthony Brown might have taken the sixth-round pick spot, but for the time being, Mario Edwards is the Cowboys' best sixth-round pick since 2000, being out the likes of Anthony Brown, Xavier Woods, and Dwayne Harris. It's not a great group. Seventh round we go, and we go to the defensive line and Jay Ratliff, number 224 back in 2005, played for the Cowboys from 2005 to 2012, had a very successful career with Dallas, and he was, again, really the only obvious option. Look, he made it to the Pro Bowl. Ratliff had a good career before his career kind of wound down, ended up playing for some with the Chicago Bears. Wasn't the same, though, once he left Dallas. Jeff Swaim, Sean Lissamore, Patrick Creighton, those were the other guys on that list, and J-Rap was the obvious selection. But I want to know from you guys, who is your all-time favorite Cowboys draft pick? You don't have to limit yourself to the 2000s. You can go beyond that, include guys like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and so on. But for me, in terms of this draft, I'm cheating a little bit. So keep those comments flowing, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a player who was not a Cowboys draft pick, but was rather an undrafted free agent, and that brings us to the best undrafted free agent, and it's obvious, right? It is Tony Romo back in 2003. Turned down more money from the Denver Broncos to go play for the Dallas Cowboys, and it was a great decision by Tony Romo. Eventually took over as a team starting quarterback. Had a great career with Dallas, even though he never quite won a Super Bowl or had that much success in the playoffs. He is one of the best Cowboys quarterbacks in team history. He is the obvious choice for undrafted free agent, despite having success from guys like La'el Collins, Miles Austin, and more. But Romo, a no-brainer there as the undrafted free agent.